I'm Citrus, and you're looking at the Master Grade RX-78-2 Gundam version 1 Year War. After 4 years, here's the Gundam marker returning for a size comparison. This kit released in 2007, and it retails for 3,200 yen. So here's the finished Gundam with all of its decals and some top coat. You can see a lot of nice surface details, and the decals are not too plentiful, but they're just close enough in proximity that the figure looks properly completed without looking too barren or busy. Now there's one place to watch out for, which is right here. These two little divots, there's one on the front and one on the back, are where the shield clamps into, and you can see that the little grip, if you just slide it on like this, will take off the decal even if you have top coat. I'm not really sure if there's a good direction where you can slide it on without damaging it, but it is a small issue. You could just skip it altogether, but I do think that if you don't put it on, the arm ends up looking a bit, naked. So there's been something like 8 versions of this kit, if you count the Master Grade Shimusha, which has basically the same body. And you would expect that with, any version of the RX-78 over time. They tend to get reprinted like nobody's business. But the one that really stands out, actually, is the first release of this kit for the PS2 game, I believe. The Gundam 1 Year War 0079 video game. And that actually came out all the way back in 2005. So, even though the box may say 2007, this kit is actually 10 years old. And in my opinion, it has aged very, very well. The legs here makes use of the molded together frame that you get in the Gundam version 1.5, which is, if you're not familiar with it, very, very similar to how the skeletons are molded for our modern real grades. And as you can see here, it allows for a good range of mobility. Just move the skirt out of there. Pretty solid bend. Nice and tight. There's a screw under here, so you can sort of adjust it a little bit to your liking. And as you come to expect on real grades, there are molded in pistons, very nicely detailed. And also down here in the ankle, you can see. These were some of the first kits to have the moving hips, like so, which you'll see in a minute are really good for crouching poses. It's only a ball joint up here, unfortunately, because they didn't revise the mold for this. Not too much articulation, but should be enough for most of your needs. And you have some movement in the ankles to match. Now, with the low price point of 3,200 yen, this kit doesn't come with a core fighter. But what that means is that the inside, instead of being a solid brick, is full of joints, which lets it do really nice movements back and forth, side to side. So this kit in particular, I think, is rather expressive for an RX-78, which usually typically doesn't have a lot of expression in the torso. You have nice articulation up here at the shoulders, all the way down, swivel, and a good tight bend right here. All of this is original, all new for this kit from the 1.5, and the construction in here is basically what we come to expect from a standard master grade these days, where you have a joint that goes up, a piece that goes up here, one that goes down here, and two pieces that sandwich them together in the middle. Basically, any budget master grade today, nothing too extravagant like the big Ver.OYW or anything like that, will feature some kind of construction very similar to this. Hands are the trigger finger, 3-finger split, but you can cut them so that they individually articulate. Thumb and a wrist joint. Quite nice. You have 2 joints in the neck, one at the base, which you can see moving there, and one in the head. Usual stuff you'd expect: moving beam sabers and moving thrusters. All in all, a very, very expressive kit. So aside from the articulation, there are a couple of gimmicks. In the chest, these vents, even though they're not connected together in the back like they are on the 2.0, they do still move individually. And the cockpit opens, but there's no real core block inside, or a pilot for that matter, so all you get is that dummy piece in there. And moving down to the legs, this retains the open hatch gimmick from the version of 1.5, which is actually originally from the perfect grade. And you're able to open the panel here and here, to reveal some of the detail inside. Unfortunately, due to the physical size of the parts and the hinges, there's actually quite a lot more hole than detail. But it's still a nice gimmick to display your model kit in open hatch mode. So as we move down here, you can see that the kit has absolutely no problem getting low on a very natural looking kneel position that doesn't throw the back out as it has to do on some kits without the adequate knee and hip articulation. To make your Gundam look ready for action, you get a couple accessories, including these swooshy beam sabers, which as you can see aren't quite straight, so they're very good for posing in slashing motions. They're a bit lighter color than what you're typically given to expect. Here are some normal ones, SB ones that you're probably familiar with. And they also have this nice silver flake in them. I don't know if you can really catch on the camera, but it gives them a really nice shimmer in some kinds of light. You also get the Gundam hammer with mace on one end, a chain, and an anchor on the other. This has become somewhat rare in RX-78 kits these days, as Gundam moves further and further away from its super robot roots, but this is actually surprisingly fun to pose with. And everything else comes on this block, and I do it to show you that the beam rifle and the bazooka can all attach to the shield. Let's start with the bazooka first. Realistically, you can't really have the Gundam hold the shield with all of the weapons attached to it, but you could do something like this. So the bazooka is unfortunately not actually this it's 2 colors, it's just this sort of bluish gray. It's cast in 5 pieces: the front here, the end here, this handle, and the 2 halves. So that means in order to get it painted like this, you do have to do some masking. It's kind of tricky with all these ridges around here. You can see that my edges aren't exactly the cleanest. But if you do, the colors do look pretty good. Keep in mind that the white is not like a true white, it's a little bit off, a little bit of yellow in it, so mixing it will be a challenge for some. It definitely was for me. And we move on to the beam rifle next. both weapons have these pegs on them. Just a couple of pieces, nothing too special about the construction, but it is nicely detailed and it has all the articulation you'd expect. The scope clicks into position, which is really nice, and you have a grip that swings from side to side. And here's the shield itself. Nice big decal on the front. Clear piece of plastic right there for the viewing slot, I guess. And here's the mount, which comes off, and you can fold it down to store this on the backpack, or fold it up for the gun to hold. And you can see there are 3 positions to put it into. If you like to store the weapons on the back of the model kit, both weapons will fit into the hole in the backpack here, but also in the peg hole down here. Here's the Gundam looking very battle ready. As you can see, the arm has no problems bending to throw the back of the bazooka over the shoulder. And it's carrying just about every single accessory, except for the Gundam hammer, of course. You can see the beam rifle down here under the shield. And it looks very, very good. So, in my experience talking to people and touching their Gundams, this is by far my favorite incarnation of the RX-78. Model kits, action figures, you name it. And the reason for that is because I think this design is the perfect middle ground between everything we've seen from the design of the mobile suit throughout the years. It has all the nice, rich details that we've seen through Katoki's representations. It has the bulk of the original anime designs, and it has good enough articulation and engineering, I would say, to go toe-to-toe with just about any modern kit that we've seen. And it doesn't fall into the trap of being too fragile and too spindly looking, in my opinion, of the 3.0 real grade sort of look. Pan down here a little bit. You can see that the size of the feet allow the kit to remain perfectly balanced without the use of a stand in any kinds of very dynamic poses. So if you like it, go out and give this a try. For a 10-year-old kid especially. You probably never knew it was this old unless you looked at the box. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.